For your committee this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Any testifiers in Pahoa?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. There are no testifiers here in Pahoa.
Thank you. Waimea?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. We have no testifiers. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kohala?
Good afternoon, Chair. We do not have any testifiers for your committee.
Thank you. And Ka'u, do we have any testifiers?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. We have no testifiers here in Ka'u this afternoon.
Thank you very much. If anybody does come in to testify at any of the remote sites, just please let me know. We have about 12 testifiers here in Kona. So with that, public testimony is limited to 3 minutes. At 2.5 minutes, you're going to hear. Miley? You're going to hear that. That means you have 30 seconds left to summarize. Then that's going to go off at 3 minutes, and I'm going to ask you to please stop at that time. I'm very strict on this. 3 minutes across the board. Fairness. Whether it doesn't matter which side of the issue you're on, it's 3 minutes. So with that, we'll go with, and please start by introducing, give us your name, and then you may begin. So Joel Cooperson. And microphone is on. It looks like it's on. Go ahead.
Hello? Yes. Okay. Aloha, council members. My name is Joel Cooperson. I've lived in North Kona community for almost 45 years, and I've taught 7th and 8th graders here for 31.4 of them. I've given testimony regarding this project over the last several years. Council members Ford, Hoffman, and Pelago required Mr. Barrett meet with the community. We met several times. Very little was accomplished. Mr. Barrett told us at the last meeting that he was going to wait until after the council election for a business-friendly county council because 5 of the members, including Councilwoman Ford, were holding him accountable. Mr. Barrett withdrew his application one of many times. 4 of those 5 council members are no longer serving. This development does not meet the requirements of the Kona Community Development Plan, which calls for low density on both sides of Hualalai Road. The community will hold you accountable for upholding the plan with legal action as an option. We wanted them to eliminate the PUD and only go with minimum of RS15, meaning 15,000 square foot lots or bigger, which mirror all of the adjoining properties. Without exception, all of the adjoining properties. He refused both. We all know that having a PUD will allow them to, behind closed doors later, increase the density to possibly 5,000 to 7,500 square foot lots. We all know that this will happen in the very near future if you approve their subdivision. This is not speculation, this is fact. We all know that Hualalai Road will not handle the increase in traffic. Pua Nui cannot handle the increase with non-existent feeder roads. Mr. Lim, who is the Barrett's high-priced TLO lawyer, who's known for getting the job done, has blatantly made misstatements to the Leeward Planning Committee and got caught about a non-existing feeder road servicing the Barrett development. Floodplain analysis by the developer is flimsy at best. Here's the bottom line. Is your job to rubber stamp the Shabai, or is it your job to protect the community and the residents? Will this development overload the infrastructure? Does this PUD bring value to existing properties adjoining and neighboring developments that actually played by the rules and did the right thing for the areas? You were voted in to represent the residents. Please continue to do so. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ed Schulman, you begin, and you are to oppose and comment on Ordinance 144, 143.
Yes, I'm Ed Schulman. I'm a 24-year resident of Hualalai Colony in Kona. I addressed the council on December 3rd regarding this application, having focused my remarks on issues of public safety. Today, I speak in support of Councilwoman Ford's proposed amendments to Bill Number 144, dated January 23, 2014. More particularly, the subject of developer responsibility for providing completion bonding for the project's infrastructure and access to and from Hualalai Road. Given the county's recent experience with Hokulea and involving so-called experienced and responsible developers with a history or track record of successful development, I find the applicant's resistance to a bonding requirement to speak volumes in terms of its bona fides, let alone its ability to complete the project as currently proposed, including any amendments to the council deems appropriate. Counsel for applicant's characterization of Ms. Ford's bonding amendment as, quote, not contained in the bonding requirements of HCC Chapter 23, close quote, is not only questionable in light of Sections 2382 and 2383 of that code, it is quite beside the point since counsel does not and perhaps cannot cite any law which precludes the county from imposing such a requirement. Given the applicant's apparent lack of development experience in projects of this nature or magnitude, upon what assurances can this council rely on applicants' representations that this project will be completed as approved once concessions sought have been granted? Certainly a completion bond sufficient to ensure proper infrastructure should be a baseline requirement. While bonding is a cost factor which developers may wish to avoid, I would ask the question, does the absence of same in this case serve county and community interests, particularly in view of the three adjacent proposed developments contiguous to Hualalai Partners project? I would direct the council to Chris Ewan's letter to the Leeward Planning Commission dated September 23rd, 2013. Other important amendments contained in Ms. Ford's proposal have met with similar resistance by applicant's counsel. The county should obtain an unbiased legal opinion regarding Ms. Ford's proposed amendments before rejecting them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next two testifiers here are Tomoe Nimori to comment on Bill 144 and Jeff Citron. Please come forward. Ms. Nimori, give us your name and you may begin.
My name is Tomoe Nimori. I live at 75662 Hualalai Street, Kailua, Kona, 96740. I support Brenda Ford's amendments based on my research of reclassification procedures and standards published in Chapter 205 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. Number 1, actions must be consistent with Chapter 205. Decision-making standards. Land use standards apply even if the decision-making body is in the county council for land less than 15 acres. B, conformance with the state plan. No amendment to any land use district boundary shall be adopted unless it conforms to Hawaii State Planning Act, Chapter 226, and Hawaii State Planning Act in Chapter 226 lists among the points water, transportation, public safety, and individual rights and personal well-being. Brenda Ford's amendments address these points as it relates to Bill 144. Water, flood control is addressed. Transportation and public safety, roads within and access to the subdivision are described. C, individual rights and personal well-being. 7 lots for affordable housing are suggested, and most importantly, a planned unit development should not be allowed if it is designed to reduce required footage of lots within the subdivision. Thank you.
Okay. Jeff Citron, give us your name and maybe again.
My name is Jeff Citron, and I have lived in Hualalai Colony for 10 years and have been a resident in Kona since 1971. Hualalai Road is a substandard road that is often congested with traffic in the morning. According to past studies, Hualalai Road is classified as substandard and is borderline dangerous. It is riddled with blind corners, cliffs, and deteriorating pavement that leads to 10 to 20-foot drop-offs with very few guardrails. Problems have increased with heavy equipment moving off and on the road, including the existing base yard and recent excavation for a new water line feeding the new water tank. Things have also grown worse with recently added metal plates that is located near a blind corner. The road is currently 10 to 25 feet in width. The worst part is right above the newly constructed 1 million gallon water tank, which is only 20 foot wide. There is no shoulders on the north side and a 15 to 20 foot drop on the water tank side. The construction company did recently put up a temporary cement barricade for the drop-off, which leaves only 20 feet of road, period. We have just recently noticed the 3 new sets of 2 water meters for development below the water tank. 2 of these meters are located underneath an existing guardrail. There are no pull-offs to read these 6 meters. Possible future development for this road would be poorly thought out, given that we have not just the Innovation School, which is building a new access road off Hualalai Road, but also a future 5-acre Makualani school that was supposedly given to them by Bolton, and I confirmed that when I called the school. You also have to take into account the 200 high-density homes if you allow 3 more PUD variances on the other 14.99 acres. Bolton has tried to get Hilo Hattie's and Walgreens to locate on his property with no success as of yet. Potentially, we are looking at a possible new shopping center on the bottom of Hualalai Road. This is not, of course, mentioning the new subdivision slated for development directly across the street from Hualalai Partners development, which range from 1 acre to multiple acre lots that will also use the road. I'm not against development, but only want proper planning. With the 2 schools that I think our community need.
Thank you, sir. I got 3 minutes. I'm going to have you stop. Thank you very much. Calling up our next 2 testifiers will be Mark Van Furnace and Tom Madsen. Mr. Van Furnace, give us your name and you may begin.
I'm Mark Van Furnace. I've been a resident here since 1976. As Mr. Citron was saying, you're looking at 60 acres of residential property and 33 acres of commercial property. By all adjoining, this is just a stalking horse. The first of the less than 15-acre parcels that will come before you. All of Hualalai Road is going to be involved. There's no question that this property does not fit within the KCDP, the LPUG maps for the density that they want. There's no question about that. Former planning director was wrong factually and wrong legally in stating otherwise. There's no, and I emphasize no, I've been in this business 35 years as a lawyer. There is no vested rights, no estoppel for an opinion from a county employee. The vested rights only exist once there is approval by the council and signing by the mayor. Their rights are what they had when they bought the property. Everything else is mere speculation. I'm hoping that the council finally sees the value and integrity of those community plans, finally sees the error of the former planning director, finally sees the merit of the universal and extensive opposition to this proposal and its necessity, and sees the duties of the planning department, Leeward Planning Commission, and the county council is not to enable developers to make greater and greater profits at public expense. Regarding Mr. Lim's letter, it's an empty threat. There is no litigation that can succeed in this case. Ms. Ford's proposed amendments, if adopted, show the county won't be fooled again like it was in Hualalai. First and foremost, the letter of Mr. Lim is an admission that they don't The letter of Mr. Lim is an admission that they do not intend to create the improvements. Just like Hualalai. When Hualalai started, many of us said they'll never build a bypass road. They'll bond it, leave it to the county to finish. And the county is now 15 years and $10 million late. That's what they're proposing here. They want a set bond. They will sell their lots, fold their corporation, and leave it to the county to get Hualalai Road improvements done. This is the Hualalai style of development that has become the model for many developers in this county. If they want a set bond, double the amount of the bond if they want a fixed amount. The conditions of attorney fees and costs, escalating amounts, personal guarantees. This is all conventional stuff that we in the private real estate development business require of every bond.
Thank you, Mr. Van Pernis. Mr. Madison, give us your name and you may begin.
Yes, I'm Tom Madsen, and I live at Hualalai Colony off of Hualalai Road, and I've lived here in Kona since 1987. My first comment has to do with the rezoning from Ag to R15. As a condition of that rezoning, the new owners were required to record with their deed that they would coordinate for optimal and promote optimal development. This is something that was recorded with their deed. They are required to coordinate road, utilities, development of access, water systems, sewer systems, and drainage for public safety. The road that they would have access to their development would be Hualalai Road, which is a substandard road. They commissioned a traffic impact report that analyzed only the effects of the development of one parcel, one 14.9 acre parcel. They didn't do an analysis of what the effect would be when the entire 96 acres was developed, and they barely mentioned Hualalai Road. They did say it was a substandard road, and that was it. All the emphasis on the traffic impact report was for the intersection at Puapuanui and Hualalai Road and Queen Kahumanu Highway. They didn't do a traffic count. They didn't do any analysis of what the effect of adding 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 more trips per day on Hualalai Road would be. Hualalai Road has been a very dangerous, which I drive several times a day, road in the time that I've lived here in Kona. There's light poles that are within 12 inches of the traffic area. And like the previous testifier said, there's drop-offs that go within 2 feet of the traffic area, drop down 15, 20 feet. They've removed a dozen cars that used to be there that have gone off the road that were unsalvageable. At this point, they're gone, but that still will continue to happen. So my concern is with Hualalai Road and having a plan to make it a safe road instead of a substandard road. The entire length of the road from the intersection of Hinaloli down to Queen Kahumanu Highway.
Thank you, Mr. Madison.
And
I'm going to ask you to stop. Sorry,
Okay.
but thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next two testifiers are Marie Aguilar and Mac McInnes.
Aloha, Council. My name is Marie Aguilar.
Could you pull the microphone down just a little bit?
Pardon?
Could you pull your microphone down just a little bit so it's closer to you so we can hear you better? Restart it now, please.
Okay. My name is Marie Aguilar, and I am a homeowner on Hinaloli Road. My mailing address is P.O. Box, Kailua Kona. P.O. Box 1874, Kailua Kona. I have resided in this community neighborhood for over 13 years. Each day I drive on Hualalai Road back and forth from my home to my business in historic Kailua Village. My testimony has been heard by the Land Use Committee, and I believe there's a correction there. It was the committee that was formed before this, and I think it might have been the PUD. I'm not sure the name of the committee, but I want to make a correction there. There should be conditions and amendments to Bill 144, which requires improvements for the substandard Hualalai Road, which fronts this parcel. The proposed amendments written by Councilmember Brenda Ford provide the necessary conditions to make this created subdivision accountable to the residents living nearby and to the County of Hawaii. I wish to address issues on Bill 44, changing the zone code from A5 to F to RS15 for Hualalai Partners. The most important concern is public safety on Hualalai Road. During construction and when residents of the development have moved into their homes, there will be an increase in large construction vehicles which will travel on Hualalai Road with building materials, tons of concrete and mixing trucks and heavy-duty excavation equipment. Residents who travel on Hualalai Road will use this road to travel to their jobs. The County of Hawaii, through Department of Public Works, must clearly require essential safeguards for traveling on Hualalai Road. The proposed amendments submitted by Councilor Brenda Ford definitely provide these conditions. I wish to endorse the proposed amendments stated in Condition C, Condition L, and the new Condition R, and the new Condition S. All of the conditions listed here directly address the public concerns of the proposed development owned by Hualalai Partners. Condition C for the required bond for completion of streets, including curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and street lighting, are as required by the Department of Public Works, grant the surety of completion. Condition L for the flood control system to address off-street drainage entering an existing parcel TMK 75017-043 ensures that the subdivision will have proper drainage improvements. Condition R is justified by stating that the number of lots in this rezoning to 40 lots. The landscape of the acreage and this country characteristics, it is welcoming that the larger lots will beautify the landscape and keep Kona country. Condition S is a measure that will allow the affordable housing with the subdivision. Explicit requirements are lined for this protection. While Condition G is meant to provide the extension of Pualina Street, there is more testimony needed to clarify the exact location of the connector road. I do not endorse Condition G, as I'm not sure where the connector roads are to Hualalai Road. The subdivision would not benefit with two Hualalai roads.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Thank you very much. Mr. McInnes, give us your name and you may begin.
My name is Matt McGinnis. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, can y'all hear me? Thank you. We, members of my community and the neighborhood, have said on a number of occasions we are not opposed to real estate development. We are not opposed to the part of this 14.9-acre parcel that's within the urban area being developed as long as it's done in a responsible manner in conjunction with the balance of the 84 acres that this is going to become a part of. We've expressed our concerns about Hualalai Road. I don't know how to say substandard. I don't know how to say it's not safe. I don't understand how putting more traffic on it is going to make it any safer. We've offered solutions. We've gotten one response from Ms. Ford on our concerns. She consists of 12% of the county council. The remainder, 88%, we've not heard anything from. That's wrong. We have yet to hear anyone speak in favor of this application with the exception of the applicant and the applicant's attorney. Have any of y'all heard anybody sit at either one of these chairs and say, this is a great development? No, you haven't. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you very much. Our next two testifiers, Keith Wallace and Mary Kay McInnes. Please come forward. Sir Keith Wallace. I'll put that off to the side, see if he comes back. Virginia Tormey. Ms. McInnes, you can give us your name and you may begin.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Kay McInnes. I live in Kona Orchard Subdivision. And here I am again, talking about the same issue we discussed before, and that is the safety of Hualalai Road. I cannot tell you how many hearings and meetings I've sat through and how many dozens of people I've heard talk on this very issue. But never once in my recollection have I ever heard anybody say, I think Hualalai Road is a perfectly fine road, and I think putting extra traffic on it is a great idea. We haven't heard that because no one in their right mind that's ever bothered to drive down this section of Hualalai Road would make such a statement. In fact, Warren Lee of the county went into great detail at the last rezoning hearing about the dangers and shortcomings of Hualalai Road and the tremendous amount of work required on both sides of the roadway to make it safe. That being said, why are we still having these discussions? We, the public, show up at meeting after meeting to voice our legitimate concerns, which are never adequately addressed. We present our concerns, there's some chatter, Hualalai Partners gives their spiel, which the public is never allowed to question, and then nothing happens. This is shameful. It degrades the trust and spirit of cooperation between the community and those charged to represent them. I would like to respectfully remind you, the committee, that your obligation is the welfare, well-being, and safety of your constituents. Your moral and fiduciary responsibility lies with the citizens of this county. To approve the rezoning on the applicant's property without improvements to the entire length of Hualalai Road is knowingly placing people in danger and will most probably result in serious injury or loss of life. And this is wrong. If there is going to be an increase in traffic on Hualalai Road, then there must be improvements to all of this section of Hualalai Road to provide for the safety of all the citizens who use it. If Hualalai Partners, their affiliates, and the county are unable or unwilling to provide that, then perhaps they should reconsider the rezoning and or development of their properties at this time. Because frankly, I don't think someone should have to die on Hualalai Road because the developers in the county cannot afford improvements at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Tormey, give us your name and you may begin.
My name is Virginia Tormey, and I live in Kona Orchard, so I'm very familiar with the hazards.
Could you hold the microphone a little closer?
Do you want me to start over?
Yes, please.
My name is Virginia Tormey. I live in Kona Orchards, so I travel Hualalai Road all the time. And I am very opposed to this rezoning. But I'm not opposed to development. I think that it's very possible. I'm not a developer, just a mere citizen who cares very much about our community, and I respect the fact that some effort has gone into the Kona Community Development Plan. But this development violates that plan, and I think that it's really disrespectful to approve something that violates the what prior citizenry has adopted, and furthermore, I believe it's a violation of the law. There are obviously other reasons that many people have already addressed with regard to the safety of Hualalai Road and the density of this development, how it contrasts with the character of the neighborhood. And, I'm not a developer, just a mere citizen, so I don't know. Maybe it's not possible to profitably develop or construct a development that is legal and safe and in keeping with the neighborhoods that surround it. But I've got to believe that it is possible. Maybe it's challenging, maybe it's difficult, but I beg you to step up to the challenge, because for heaven's sakes, once it's done, it's done. And if it's not profitable to do it right the first time, it certainly won't be profitable to try to amend it and do it over. And please.
Thank you very much. And our last testifier here in Kona, I'm having a hard time with the first name. It's either Mr. or Ms. Osun. Please give us your name, and you may begin, and hold the microphone nice and close to you.
And good afternoon. My name is Adeboyega Osun. I'm a resident of Kona Orchard, and I am opposed to the rezoning request, primarily due to density and increased traffic on Hualalai Road. I've lived in Hawaii like 7 years here in Kona, and there are not a lot of roads that go east-west or even north-south. And the ones that have that intention to be used heavily are rather straight. Sometimes they have lights on them. They have gentle curves. You can see around them. They have radius curves. Hualalai Road has none of those, and it's extremely narrow. And even driving the speed limit is difficult to stay on your side of the road. I've often almost met the car coming in the opposite direction because we were both out of our lane, just trying to make the curve. And that's unacceptable on a heavily used road because it'll cause many accidents. I think having the density increased will increase usage of this road, increasing the likelihood of this happening. If the road were somehow widened or improved so there were less sharp turns, you were able to see around these blind curves, that might be an acceptable solution. But without that, I'd be opposed to the rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else wishing to give testimony here or any of the other locations? Hearing, seeing none, public testimony is now closed.